travelers along the path of the beam. I am known on this level of the tower as Jaime and Fuego, and if it please you, join me here for some palaver on Hail to Stephen King. That's right, my favorite author, as y'all can see by that terrifying, terrific tower of tomes behind me there. Welcome to the horror show. You can just call me Fuego, and this is the 136th episode of Hail to Stephen King. That's right, and man alive, y'all, we are seeing an amazing anniversary this week. Yes, on, ironically enough, February 14th, that's right, the day, we are seeing, yes, the 20th anniversary. Has it really been 20 years since Storm of the Century? Yeah, it's been 20 years since Storm of the Century. Ay Dios mío, my goodness, y'all, insane. I didn't appreciate this as a kid. I really, really did not. I saw it when it was initially airing. It was in 9th grade. And, you know, I was in the King stuff at the time, but of the more brutal variety, I think. You know, I loved some It, I loved, you know, The Stand, and I'd watch the Tommyknockers, and I'd watch, you know, the new version of The Shining that they did for TV. All of those being ABC, if I recall correctly. And so King had really, over the course of about a decade, been fostering a relationship, a very healthy and, you know, I guess mutually beneficial one with, you know, Disney's ABC, you know, television station. And so, for the first time, he decided that he wanted to write something specifically for screen. Now, yes, The Golden Years was written specifically for screen, but that originally was going to be a novel. It was dealing with the shop and, you know, that very secretive group that we also saw in Stranger Things, that, you know, was responsible for the incident in the Mist and also for all the stuff with Charlie and Firestarter. And so Golden Years was at least originally going to be a book, and so that's why this was completely different territory for King. This was him scripting a brand new idea for television. Now, I guess the same thing could also be said for Sleepwalkers, but I've read conflicting reports that, you know, Sleepwalkers, where he wrote a film, you know, specifically for screen, for like the big screen, that was originally based on, you know, stuff going to be a novel, but I don't know. In February of February of 1999, that was when King released both the script for Storm of the Century, this badass hardcover, and when this started airing. So this aired over the course of 3 nights, 3 different 2-hour segments. So we had February 14th, we had February 15th, and then we had February 18th. And so, yeah, over the course of 3 nights, he did a slow burn that, as I said, as a kid, I did not properly appreciate, you know? I mean, I liked the stuff that was more, you know, sci-fi post-apocalyptic crazy, like just bigger ideas and more gore and more kills and stuff like that. And this is a much different beast. An unspeakable evil has arrived, Storm of the Century. Deliciously creepy, as TV Guide said at the time, the triple deadbolt your door miniseries. And, you know, upon this rewatch, it's funny because I rewatched this a few years ago when I bought the DVD, and in contrast with not appreciating it as a kid, I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was really cool and much more interesting than I remembered, and the ending is especially like, whew. But rewatching it just this past couple of days, I must say, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that this might be the best thing that King has ever done for the small screen. Legit. And that includes stuff like, you know, 11/22/63 that I thought, you know, was very well done. That includes The Stand. That includes, you know, Salem's Lot that Tobe Hooper did. You know, the original 70s miniseries. And so King has done some really, there's been some very strong adaptations, I guess I could say, you know, for King. But legitimately, like, this is so much better and so much darker and has a lot more going on, especially with just the analysis of the human condition, and especially it's themes that we get later on in Under the Dome and a few other King stories where and also in The Mist, you know, which obviously was way before this, but it's that whole bunker mentality with your back against the wall, you know, kill or be killed, dog eat dog, you know, my skin, saving my own skin or that of my family over yours, you know, what exactly would you do? And so this was actually done by the same director who would go on to do Rose Red, The Diary of Ellen Rimbauer, Kingdom Hospital. Craig Baxley, I believe, is the name of the director. And so this was his first foray into the King adaptation stuff. And I mean, you've got a hell of a cast. You've got Tim Daly, who a lot of people know as the voice of Superman from the animated series, and then for a ton of the different movies that they've done, including the Doom movie, the Superman Batman movie. I mean, he's really epitomized the role pretty splendidly. I want to say he was also on The Sopranos as that druggy screenwriter maybe, but yeah, he was also on Wings with another, like, it's the connections of the King kind of thing, which is kind of amusing to me. The dude from Wings, it was another character obviously, but he played Jack Torrance in the miniseries on ABC. There's all these little ABC connections and with Wings, despite that being an NBC show. Strange, but the guy that I really have to make so much awesome mention of is because Tim Daly is terrific in this, but Colm Feore, a Canadian actor, he's the one who basically plays this dude, what does his, Linoge, I want to say? Yeah, the Linoge, which plays in Linoge. That is the name of this character who essentially shows up at Little Tall Island. Yeah, Little Tall Island, which is basically the Dolores Claiborne Island where that story took place. And so that's a cool connection. And they also even mention Derry in this, which is cool. So it's very obviously in the Kingverse, very, very plainly put there. And yeah, so this mysterious stranger shows up as this insane storm is coming through this isolated small island. I mean, it's so small, they don't even have like a police force. They just have a constable, and the constable also runs like a little market general store type spot. So that tells you everything about just how small and tightly knit and close this community is going to be, which is what makes it even crazier when, with their backs to the wall, there is that just kind of coercion and push of sorts to turn against each other when we really get to the third act of the film. But so this dude Linoge roams into town, and he immediately, this is within the first few minutes, and he even says it in the synopsis here of the script. Yeah, he basically storms in and kills a beloved elderly resident, and he doesn't try to get away. He sits down and he just waits to be caught. Obviously he does, and they take him in, and it's really funny because Mike Anderson, I want to say the dude's name is, yeah, Constable Mike Anderson, our main character, the Tim Daly dude. Yeah, his son, when they're taking Linoge into custody, he's like, "Why are you wearing those?" And this is where I want to consult my notes properly, because there's a ton of really great quotes in there. He's like, "Why are you wearing those?" And Linoge is like, "Because I choose to." Ha ha, yeah, insane, right? And so he's taken into custody, but when he is taken into that custody, there's a phrase that keeps popping up back and forth, and it's, "Born in lust, turn to dust. Born in sin, come on in." And there's a lot of really just triptastic stuff like that is uttered throughout. There's also a lot of use of the "I'm a little teapot, short and stout," which Joe Hill, King's son, also used in one particular story. So that's kind of funny. But yeah, he's essentially, this Linoge guy, giving a warning. He's like, "Give me what I want and I will go away." It's a phrase that pops up throughout the entire 4-hour miniseries over and over and over. He's like, "Hey, my demands are reasonable, just give me what I want and I'll go away." And that's really just what we keep coming back to over and over and over. And you know, besides the awesome portrayal from Colin Feore and Tim Daly, I gotta say that it was really cool seeing Jeff DeMunn in this, who very small role as the prosecutor in Shawshank Redemption, but he was also in The Green Mile. He played a pivotal role in The Mist. He was in Darabont's The Walking Dead as Dale, and he's like a head town kind of leader of sorts. I'm trying to remember if he's the mayor, if he's just like head council, whatever person, but his flashback stuff, that which is basically what Linoge starts to do, is he starts giving these crazy memory premonition, like tripped out dark hallucinations to different people. He starts compelling people while he's incarcerated and being held to commit suicide, to kill other people, kill lovers, like all this different stuff. But the stuff that he does to Jeff DeMunn's character is messed up. It's probably some of the most messed up stuff in the miniseries, because he's like, he knows all these dark secrets about all of the different people in the town, and so he's like, yes, I know you were at this whore's house when your mother was suffering and died and blah blah blah. And then DeMunn's mother starts appearing to him and saying, I'm waiting for you in hell, and I'm gonna eat your eyes over and over and over, because what is hell? Repetition is hell. Hell is repetition. It's so messed up, man. It's so messed up. And then they later on draw parallels with what this guy is essentially doing, because as this storm is there, and as Linoge is like basically in turn eventually making his demands after doing all the manipulation of these people, and yet, you know, the fact that he's like, because I choose to, with the handcuffs, you know that he's there, he can basically do whatever the hell he wants. He's just trying to barter with them and has to kind of have a choice made of their own volition. And I have to spoil at the end what this is. I will give everybody forewarning, but I mean, so many other great quotes. There's just these silent, somber scenes. Yeah, everything is really just supremely creepy based on the weather, based on the fact that everything is snowed over, and, you know, just the wind, and it's just very ominous and very nuts, man. And just the way that this guy finds a manner to manipulate a small town into getting whatever he wants is just, it's fascinating to me. And it's so funny to see just how closely knit, and yet everybody just makes this knee-jerk decision when it's put forth by this crazy guy, who they eventually go into some connections with Roanoke, and the fact that an entire community could disappear. He's giving everybody these crazy dreams where, you know, they're thinking, because this takes place in 1989, despite the fact that it was broadcast in 1999, it takes place in 89, and so, yeah, it's almost like they're caught in this pocket of time, and they're shown in a nightmare on the first evening what could happen to them if they don't give in to his demands, and they all are just forced to march into the sea and jump off and drown and die. And that's what this guy who claims responsibility for Roanoke eventually, it's like, pick your poison, you know, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? If I'm going to mention a few things that because you can tell, I'm fervent. I loved this miniseries. Love this miniseries. If I'm going to so boldly say that it might be the best thing Stephen King has ever put to the small screen, then that's a tall order to fill. But the CGI and the effects are of the day. There's a dream-like flying sequence with the Linoge guy and some of the kids from the town that it doesn't look so good. And then he also has this cane with like a silver wolf head on the top that when it starts moving, and you can tell it's like helping him in the compelling people to do this screwed up shit. Yeah, it doesn't look very good. But aside from that, the acting is stellar in this. There's some hammy acting in some of these Stephen King short, you know, or long form adaptations, and it's really, really good in this. Frightening power of this character to make people kill themselves, 3-night event. Just making sure that I hit all of my, you know, that's the one thing that I thought was really brilliant. That so Linoge, L-I-N-O-G-E. So if you move those around, you basically can rearrange that name to Legion, and it goes into the tale from the Bible where there's this demon-possessed person, and Jesus casts the demon out, but right before he does it and sends it into this herd of swine, he's like, what is your name? And it says, we are Legion. Scary, scary stuff, man. And so, I mean, I didn't like it as a kid for the sheer fact that it was just, it didn't have as much flash and as much pizzazz, you know? And even the couple kills that we get, they're not like extremely brutal or bloody or anything like that. I suppose I was just a gore hound and I was just in so much desire for that sort of nastiness when I was in like 8th, almost 9th grade when this initially broadcast, because yeah, if it was February of 99, which it was, I wasn't even in 9th grade yet. I wasn't even in high school yet, you know? So I was just a sick little bastard and I just wanted more nastiness, whereas this is much more so a dark, brooding tale that just really it's like somebody with their hands around your throat and slowly gripping harder and harder and harder, as opposed to, you know, some of the shock and awe that you get in a few of the other Stephen King things that, you know, were put to the small screen. And so this is where I'm going to give a thumbs up here in a moment, because I just have to talk about how amazingly messed up the last like 30, 40 minutes or so of this miniseries is, and then I'll give you another thumbs up in just a couple of minutes once I get past it. Okay? Are we ready? Okay. If you have not seen this, hey, sorry, you're past the point of no return because I'm going into it. This is one of the darkest endings to something Stephen King has ever done. This is like a Bachman ending, guys, because essentially you find out that what dude wanted, he's like, give me what I want and I'll go away. He is this ancient traveler, this ancient, like, you know, he's like Flag, but maybe not quite as powerful, so to speak, and what he wants is one of their children. That's why he's put them all into this deep, like, almost, I don't know, like psychosis, you know, kind of coma sort of sleep state, and he's like, okay, just give me one of your children, we'll select it at random, and I'll go away. And of course, Constable Mike is like, hell no, we are not doing that. That is the most effed up thing. He's even arguing with the preacher. The preacher is telling him, oh, we should just do this. And then he starts quoting scripture at the preacher, man, you know? And he's like, get behind me, Satan, and all this different stuff. As a raised Reformed Baptist, my father was a Bible teacher. I'm an agnostic now, but damn, it's some intense shizzle. And then, yeah. It's the irony of it all is that they do the drawing amongst the eight children that he has under this, you know, like this, you know, like just subdued state. And of course, it's Mike's kid, you know, Mike being the only one who refused to go along with it. He's like, no, we can't do it. We can't do it. They go to a vote. Everybody, including his wife, votes for it. He votes against it. And then, of course, it's his son that is chosen to be taken. And yet, you kind of get the vibe that, you know, Linoge had that in his eyes and in his sights all along, because he was the one who was actually kind of playing along with the kid earlier and, you know, just like showing him things and whatever. So, yeah, in all likelihood, he just tipped the scale to get the kid that he wanted. And there was really no chance of randomness whatsoever. That wasn't happening. And yeah, so basically everyone in the community is like, okay, we'll give up one of our kids. It's fine, buddy, it's fine. And then lo and behold, the only person against it loses his kid. It's so messed up. And he's like, yeah, I'm the, you know, Linoge, the weird old traveler who destroyed Roanoke and everything. He's like, yes, I'm taking him to be my apprentice and he'll work under my wing, and we see his true form, and it's so fudged. Blech. It's nasty. This is a dark story, y'all. Very dark story, and I love the hell out of it for just that unabashed, just going for it. And all of the acting is really, really strong. I guess I can give the thumbs back up. Yeah, you're all clear. You're all clear. I just had to, I had to talk about the climax and just how it's beyond what I was expecting, and maybe if I had paid a little bit more attention as a kid, I would have properly appreciated it, but yeah, y'all, whether you get the screenplay or I just say get a hold of both, because especially King has like a 10-page introduction in here where he gives a very detailed, just I don't know, just introduction, but a very cool timeline about just the gestation and the, you know, actual just beginning of this story and how it became something written specifically for screen and everything. It's really fascinating, really cool, and if you're a fan of On Writing or Dance Macabre, any of the nonfiction that Sai King does, you will love the insight that you get at the beginning of this. So, yeah, Storm of the Century is on point badass, and nothing King has ever done, at least in my opinion, because even with Rose Red and you know, Kingdom Hospital, those were based on other things, you know, like you know, the Lars von Trier for Kingdom Hospital, and then also you know, the Haunting of Hill House for yeah, Rose Red. So I recommend, if you have not watched either of the, watched Red, it's a great story. It truly is awesome. So I extend a grande gracias to everyone. Much appreciated for you tuning into this program. I've been Jaime and Fuego. You can find me on all social media sectors like Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. I'm doing a lot of new stuff on my Fuegotainment channel, my solo channel, including reviews of every one of the Star Wars films on the 24th of every month as we approach the new release of Episode 9 in December. And I'm doing weekly reviews of new films on Fridays, and also just a little bit of, you know, other things just randomly thrown around here and there, including some Oscar preview coverage where I'm reviewing all of the Best Picture noms and stuff like that. So make sure to like, share, subscribe here on The Horror Show, where we cover everything under the horror umbrella. It is so supremely appreciated. Like, share, subscribe, hit that bell so you get all of the notifications about the rad status stuff we do 2, sometimes 3 times a day here on the channel. But yes, I guess that is time for the window to close, at least for now. So until the Wheel of Ka comes around once more, I say hasta luego, sin amigos, and constant readers and viewers across the planet. I'm hopeful that we get to share more palaver sooner rather than later. Say thank you, and until that instance occurs, remember, stay scared and read, or in this case, watch Stephen King. You actually have both as options.